Hey there, and welcome. So today, we're going to tackle something called inequalities. Now, I know that word might sound a little intimidating, but trust me, it's not. We're going to see it all boils down to one super simple idea and just one big rule you got to remember. Ready to jump in? Let's do it. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. First up, we're starting with a simple truth. Then, we'll cruise through the easy rules for adding and subtracting. After that, we'll take the next step into multiplying and dividing. Then comes the main event, the one big twist. And finally, we'll put it all together. Let's get started. All right, section 1, a simple truth. To really get inequalities, we don't need some complicated starting point. Nope, we're just going to start with a super simple fact, something everybody agrees on. And this one little fact, it's going to be our North Star for this whole lesson. And here it is, our simple truth. 2 is less than 4. That's it. I mean, we all know that, right? 2 is definitely smaller than 4. And believe it or not, this one simple idea is the key to everything else. Everything we do from here on out is going to start right here, with 2 is less than 4. So this little math sentence we have, 2 less than 4, has a fancy name. It's called an inequality. And really, inequality is just a math way of saying not equal. That's all. It just tells us that the two sides aren't the same. One is bigger or one is smaller. And we use that little symbol there to show which way things are leaning. Okay, now for section 2. Let's take our simple truth, 2 is less than 4, and let's play with it a little bit. We're going to see what happens when we add and subtract stuff. And I call these the easy rules for a reason. They work exactly the way you'd expect them to. No tricks here. So, let me ask you this. We know 2 is less than 4. What do you think is going to happen if we add the same number to both sides? Like, let's say we add a 3 to the left side and we add a 3 to the right side. Is our less than thing still going to be true? What's your gut feeling? Okay, let's actually do it and see. We start with our truth. 2 is less than 4. Now let's add 2 to the left side. 2 plus 2, that's 4. Easy. Now let's add 2 to the right side. 4 plus 2, that's 6. So what do we have now? We have 4 is less than 6. Is that true? Is 4 smaller than 6? You bet it is. So look at that. The sign didn't need to change at all. It just stayed the same. And just like that, we found our very first rule. It's super simple. When you add or subtract the same number on both sides of an inequality, the sign stays the same. It doesn't flip, it doesn't change, it just stays put. And this works every single time. That's rule number 1, the easy one. Awesome job so far. So we've got adding and subtracting down. Now let's move on to section 3 and take the next logical step. What about multiplying and dividing? Now, to keep things simple at first, we're only going to mess with positive numbers and see what happens. Okay, next question for you. What do you think happens when we multiply both sides by a positive number? Let's stick with our good old 2 less than 4. What if we multiply both sides by, say, a positive 2? What's your prediction? Sign stays the same, or does it flip? Let's test it out. We start with 2 is less than 4. On the left, we do 2 times 2. That gives us 4. On the right, we do 4 times 2. That's 8. So our new sentence is 4 is less than 8. Is that true? Yep, absolutely. 4 is definitely less than 8. So once again, the sign stayed exactly the same. And boom, that's our second rule. When you multiply or divide by a positive number, the sign, you guessed it, stays the same. So far, so good, right? Adding, subtracting, multiplying by a positive number, the sign never changes. It kind of seems like it will always stay the same. But get ready, because this is where the plot twist comes in. All right, section 4. I need you to lean in for this one. This is it. This is the big one. If you only remember one thing from this whole lesson, make it this. This is the secret key to the whole world of inequalities. Seriously. So, we've talked about positive numbers, but what happens when we multiply by a negative number? What do you think happens then? Let's find out, because this is where everything changes. Okay, back to our trusty 2 is less than 4. But this time, let's multiply both sides by -2. So on the left, 2 times -2 is -4. And on the right, 4 times -2 is -8. So our two new numbers are -4 and -8. But wait a second, which one is actually bigger? Think about it for a sec. Okay, with negative numbers, things can get a little weird. Think about a thermometer. Is -4 degrees colder or warmer than -8 degrees? It's warmer, right? It's closer to 0. So that means -4 is actually the bigger number. Wow. So -4 is greater than -8. So if we kept our old less than sign, our sentence would say -4 is less than -8, which is just plain wrong. To make it true, we have to flip the sign. The less than sign has to become a greater than sign.
And there it is, my friends. That is the rule, the big one. The only trick you have to remember when you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must flip the sign. That's it. Less than becomes greater than becomes less than. Tattoo this one on your brain because it's the most important rule of all.
Okay, amazing job. You made it through the big twist. So you've learned the easy rules, and now you know the one big, super important rule. Let's move on to our last section and put it all together. We'll make a nice little cheat sheet to make it crystal clear. Check out this handy little table. It basically sums up everything. See, if you add or subtract, doesn't matter if it's a positive or negative number, the sign stays the same. No problem. If you multiply or divide by a positive number, again, the sign stays the same. But look at that last box. That's our special case. When you multiply or divide by a negative number, bam, the sign flips. That is literally the only time you ever have to worry about flipping the sign. That's the whole secret right there.
All right, time for a quick pop quiz. Let's say we know that A is less than or equal to B. First up, what happens if we add 5 to both sides? Well, we're just adding, so the sign stays the same, right? A plus 5 is still less than or equal to B plus 5. Easy. Okay, next, what about multiplying by 8? Well, 8 is a positive number, so the sign stays the same again. 8A is less than or equal to 8B. You're getting this. All right, last one, the tricky one. What if we multiply by -5? Uh-oh, red alert. We're multiplying by a negative number. So what's the rule? We've got to flip the sign. So less than or equal to becomes greater than or equal to. Perfect.
And that's really all there is to it. You now know the secret handshake for inequalities. It's pretty simple, right? For almost everything, the sign just stays the same. But you just have to remember that one special case. When you multiply or divide by a negative number, you flip that sign. Now that you know this trick, a whole new world of math problems is open to you. Thanks so much for hanging out and learning with me today. You did an awesome job.